Rev up your engines!
And Virgilio says, Happy New Year, Scotty. Do you think the new Toyota 8-speed transmission itself is troubling, or is it just the buggy programming? No, I really do think it's the transmissions themselves, because that's always the first fix. If it isn't made right, they try to reprogram it, get the problems out of the way without even having to have recalls, without having to rebuild the things. I really believe that they didn't build those things right in the first place, and they didn't test them right. I've had customers with them, and they really didn't work all that well. It's not like they broke and left stranded you like a Honda Odyssey automatic transmission where it would just blow up and the car wouldn't move anywhere. But a lot of them do not shift right. They're working on software patches, but me, I'd stay away from those things until they have them out for years, and then they have a track record of years of no problems. They kind of made a mistake with that 8-speed because their 5-speed transmissions and their 6-speed transmissions were excellent. They should have tested that 8-speed more than they actually did. The Woomaster says, Scotty, what are recent years to buy a Toyota in America but made in Japan? A lot of them they buy in the United States now. Oh, they made in the United States or Canada. Now, the Canadian ones, as far as I'm concerned, are exactly as well built as the Japanese. I got a Matrix that was made in Cambridge, Ontario. Canadians know how to build cars. The second car I ever had was a Ford Maverick, and it was made outside of Oakville, Ontario, and it was an excellent vehicle. I paid $500 for it, and I drove it for like 15 years. You can't argue that, you know? All you got to do is look in the door. You open the door, it'll say where it's made. If it says manufactured by Toyota of America, it's made in the United States. If it's made in Japan, it'll say Japan. And if you get one that's made like the Matrix I have in Cambridge, Ontario, they're just as well made. But yeah, the American one's not horrible. We had a Camry station wagon that was made in Kentucky, and it was a perfectly good vehicle, but that said, it was not good as the Camrys that we had that were made in Japan. They are slightly better made. Jacob Birchbanger says, what do you think of a 2017 Chevy Cruze, 24,000 miles? How can I make it last? Well, you can make it last by not driving it. That's really one of the worst cars that Chevrolet ever built. I got a customer on his, he's got a picture of Mickey Mouse in the back, and I said, why you got a picture of Mickey Mouse? He says, because it's a Mickey Mouse car. He was through 3 automatic transmissions they had to replace because the old ones kept breaking. Now, they were replaced under warranty, but the next one isn't going to be. And he tried to sue him under the Lemon Law. All Chevy offered him was $3,000 for his inconvenience. They wouldn't buy the thing back, so, you know, they're horrible cars. If somebody gave it to you and you wanted to drive a car, what the heck? But don't buy one because they're piles of junk. And they don't make them anymore anyways. I'll kind of give you an idea how bad they were. Soros says, why do you hate Toyota Priuses? I don't hate them. I just tell people hybrid cars are uber high technology. Now, if you don't care about the price and you buy a brand new Toyota Prius, I've had customers do that and get well over 100,000 miles of trouble-free driving. But you don't want to buy a used one with high mileage. The batteries cost thousands. The generators cost thousands. They're extremely high tech. Hardly anybody knows how to work on it if the hybrid system, because realize, you got a regular gasoline engine, that's an Atkinson cycle 4-stroke gasoline engine, plus you also have an electric motor and a battery pack to run that, and they go between the two, and sometimes they use both at the same time. High tech stuff, and when it breaks, you ain't gonna find a guy in a corner gas station gonna be able to fix that thing. And if you go to a dealer, last time I had a customer go to one of those with a dealer, they'd lost their keys and it cost them $1,500 to get new keys made. So that'll just tell you why I tell people it's not a smart idea to buy a used one. Ron Floyd says, Scotty, what's a good first car for a 17-year-old high school grad? Well, one that costs the least amount of money and has the highest amount of protection. So maybe like an old Crown Victoria that's got a lot of metal around and you don't have to pay much for it. All I know is I got a car for both of my sons and they both totaled both of the cars that I bought for them. So, odds are they're not going to last all that long. Teenage boys, they drive like maniacs. You know, I didn't wreck my first car. I'm just, because I had to pay for it out of my own pocket and I didn't want to destroy my own money. So I didn't even wreck any of my motorcycles. I'm careful with my own machines. If you're looking for something that really can last a long time, heck, get an old Toyota Corolla. They can run forever. But if you're looking to pick up women, you want to go a little snazzier, you know? But, I mean, a Corolla or a Camry, an old used one, they can last a really long time. Especially the Camry, they're big and they're safe. They got airbags in them. They can save you if you do wipe out your first car. Joster says, what do you think about a 2001 Honda Prelude? Those were very well-made cars. They were like the sporty version of the Honda Accord, right? The problem is that's now a 19-year-old vehicle. If you're looking to buy one, let's say it's got 200-something thousand miles on it, a lot of the stuff is starting to wear out. If you're not paying much, I had a customer buy one for $1,500 last year, and it had like 160,000 miles. And I checked it out. I said, it's in good shape, but it's realize how old this thing is. And if the transmission goes out, you're going to junk the car, because to rebuild a transmission on a 91 Prelude, they're complicated. It'll cost you anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 to do that, so you wouldn't throw that kind of money in an old car. He bought it, and he's driving it around. Just don't think you can buy a car like that and put like 20,000 miles a year as a regular, everyday commuting driver car, because you'll just wear the thing out, and you'll have to spend a lot of money. But if you put lower mileage on it, it might not be a bad car. Auntie May says, Scotty, Range Rover versus Jeep, which one is the lesser of the two evils? Oh, that's a good one, Range Rover versus Jeep. Well, I would have to say Jeep, because the Range Rovers cost so much more money to buy, and they cost so much more money to fix, and they do break down even more than the Jeeps do. And especially if you talk about Jeeps that were a little bit older before Fiat bought the company, when Mercedes, when it was Daimler Chrysler, they're better made than they are today. I worked on one the other day that had the Daimler automatic transmission, the ZF transmission, and it's still an excellent vehicle, even though it was 12 years old, so there's nothing wrong with that. The Range Rovers, they're just endless money pits here in the United States. The parts are expensive. Guys who work on them, one of those never-ending circles of despondency that you want to stay away. So I'd have to say there, get the Jeep. But if I was getting off-wheel drive thing, I'd get like a Toyota 4Runner myself. They can run forever. Oceana Z says, 2003 Toyota Highlander seems to be shaking and shivering at random points. First thing you want to check are the tires. I've seen people get bad tires. They do exactly that. I had one the other day. It scared the heck out of me. He said, take it on the highway, and said he was going 65, and it's just going all over the place. And I checked, and some of the tires were out around. So check that, of course. Also, it could be the shocks in the back or the struts in the front could be worn out. Check those too. It's 17 years old, so 17-year-old vehicle, the struts and shocks could be worn out. So you want to check those too. That'd be the common thing. Leo Gonzalez says, your thoughts on a 2019 Toyota Yaris? Realize Toyota Yaris is not a Toyota. It's a Mazda. Toyota and Mazda now have a working relationship going on. They're just doing a factory, I believe it's in Alabama, where they're going to be making Toyotas and Mazdas on the same assembly line. Not one on one side, one on the other, on the same assembly line. So they're sharing their technology. So the quality of Mazdas is actually going uphill. Now, me, if I wanted to get an Econobox Toyota, I'd splurge for a little bit more and get a Toyota Corolla, because it's a much nicer car to drive. But if you want to save money, and you don't mind a car that doesn't ride as well, that isn't actually a Toyota, but it's a Mazda, the 2019 Yaris is a decent car. I got customers with them that have 150, 160,000 miles, the older Yarises. They're kind of junky, bouncing around, but they can still run. La Cinnamon 31 says, how do you know if you have a seized caliper? Okay, the brake calipers stop your brakes. You step on the brake pedal, fluid goes to the caliper, squeezes the brake pads, and it stops moving. If you have a seized one, it'll start to drag. So what you do is, they don't always seize fully. Drive a little, and you think it's seized, quick, jack it up in the air, try spinning the wheels. If you got a seized caliper, you won't be able to spin that wheel. Or it'll drag, the one will spin, and then you got to really pull the other one, and it'll barely move. Then the caliper's seized up. And what you can do is, it could be the fluid going to it is making it lock up, or it could be the caliper. So, if it is locked, take the tire off, take the brake line off of the caliper. If you take the brake line off the caliper and it spins freely, it's not the caliper, it's something that's sending the pressure. But if you take the brake line off, nothing's sending the pressure. If it's still frozen on, it means the caliper seized on. Simple to check those things. Very easy. Michael says, what's your advice to new mechanics? All right, learn all about electricity. Because it's electricity and computers that's going to be the real forefront of things you're going to have to learn how to repair. And eventually, people will be driving electric cars. Now, the vast majority of people driving electric cars, they might not be for 30, 40, 50 years. Who knows? But things are being electrified, and the normal cars have all electronic computer controls that you're going to learn how to fix, because that's the stuff that's really going to be the nitty-gritty for repair work. Anybody can put on brake pads and put in spark plugs and stuff, but the electronic stuff that's going to break, you're going to really have to know electronics. So let's say you're shy of electricity because you can't see it. Don't think about becoming a mechanic. Learn electrical stuff. T-Baller says, hello from Toronto. Scotty, should I get a manual Jeep Gladiator? I like the look. All right. right, well, the manuals are a lot better than the automatics, but realize, since Fiat took over Chrysler, and now it's Peugeot Fiat Chrysler, three stooges making cars, I wouldn't buy one of those. If you're going for looks, that's a mistake in buying a vehicle, because there's a lot better four-wheel drive vehicles out there than a Jeep Gladiator these days. But at least it's a standard transmission. I realize you're going to be throwing a ton of money away, and if you buy that thing brand new, you're going to lose over 50% of the value. I mean, if you got to get one, at least you're getting a standard transmission, and you bypass the automatic transmission crap. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.